G'day guys, how are we going? Well, here we are. We're back again, having a yarn to you guys. Another Sunday night, and going to be a good night. Good night chat. We've got it going on tonight. So, any of you out there that are on there early, let us know. Give us that thumbs up, and make sure this is all coming through, all loud and clear, and you can hear what's going on. So, tonight's topic, we're going to have a chat about some snow driving tips. When you're heading out there in the, don't matter if it's the high country, wherever you're going to go snow driving, but we're coming into that time of year where a fair bit of snow starting to now fall off and on, some exciting times ahead. So we're going to have a bit of a chat about that, and a couple of topics that we're going to talk about within those snow driving tips are, we're going to cover these things. Well, not tyre pressure gauges, but we're going to talk about tyre pressures for driving in the snow. And then the other one we're going to talk about, which I'll go and get just down here, is these things, snow chains. We're going to have a good chat about these things too, about fitting these things up. So we'll put those back. That's my snow chains going on there. So we're going to have a chat about snow chains, whether you fit, which end to fit them on, front, back, or spare tyre, steering wheel, whatever. And then we'll wrap it up with another discussion about snow chains as to the times when you must carry snow chains. So we'll get into it now. And so the first we're going to have a chat about is the tyre pressures. That'll be the first sort of snow driving tip we're going to have a bit of a chat about. So tyre pressures when you're driving in the snow. So now this is a topic that's been floating around social media a fair bit just of late. A lot of people are starting to ask that question, whether what sort of tyre pressures they should be running, or do they run the same tyre pressures as they would normally, when you're out there during the summer times, normal times of full driving. Well, I changed mine around a little bit. My normal go-to tyre pressures in the patrol when I'm out there, I'm normally running 20 PSI in the back and 18 PSI in the front. And, that works for me, no worries at all. But when it comes to snow season and driving in the snow, I do adjust them a little bit. So I run the same tyre pressures as I would as if I'm driving down the beaches in soft sand. So I've dropped the front to 16 PSI, and I run the backs at 18 PSI. Now, I just find I sort of adopt the same sort of driving techniques as what you do in sort of soft sand too. The idea of, dropping the tyre pressures to those sort of pressures is you want to sit up on top of the sand like you do and sit up on top of the snow, exactly the same. So the more you drop those tyre pressures down, your tyres are going to get wider footprint, and then you've got a better chance of sitting up on top of the sand rather than having sort of too higher pressures, like 25, 30 and above, where you're probably going to dig into that sort of soft snow. And that's not ideal. You want to be getting up on top of it as much as you possibly can. So that's why I run 18 in the back, 16 PSI in the front. And I find that just all sort of works. Yeah, no worries at all for driving in that sort of soft snow. So I'd be pretty keen, hear from some of you guys as to what pressures do you guys run in your tyres when you're out there driving in the snow. Be pretty keen to sort of hear what's going on there. We haven't got anyone on there at the moment. Not sure what's going on there. Hopefully it's all coming through there all right. Maybe it's not. So anyway, we'll keep pressing on. So and then the other one that we're going to chat about is with snow chains. Now, a lot of people ask this sort of question too with snow chains. Which end do you put them on? Do you put them on the front tyres? Do you put them on the back tyres? Which is the way to go? Well, I like to run I've actually run both ends. So I've put snow chains on the front, and I've also run them on the back. And just to see the differences, and there are some pretty decent differences with both ends. And with running them on the front is generally the way you would sort of go, because you want maximum steering as well. So that's generally why you would put your snow chains, fit them up to the front, and you can see what's going on there with your snow chains and get some good traction and still plenty of good steering, good direction on where you're going. But I have fitted them also on the rear as well, but I did have sort of newish sort of tyres as well. And also, as I say, running those low tyre pressures, running them on the back is quite a different sort of way of driving, because it sort of pushes you up rather than sort of pulls you up like they do on chains sitting on the front there. So So that's why, yeah, I would generally run them on the front. Now, do you need front and back and that sort of thing? Well, running chains on all four tires is probably a bit of overkill. You don't really need to run sort of four chains. Yeah, massive overkill. One set of chains on two tires is plenty. And yeah, just keep running them on those front tires is generally the way to go. And with those low pressures as well. But the other thing too, with before you go fitting any of your snow chains on any of those tires, make sure you let your tire pressures down before you go putting your chains on, because you don't want to go fit your chains onto, fit your snow chains up onto, your road tire pressures of 30 psi or whatever. Then you get out there and then you let them down, because all the tension around your snow chains is going to go all slack. So you want to make sure you let your tire pressures down to the pressures that you want to run them at for your snow driving, then fit up your snow chains, and that is definitely the way to go. So let them down before you go putting let your tires down before you go putting your snow chains on. Now, the other big one too, which comes around a lot, and that's the confusion with people asking, do I have to carry snow chains in the Victorian High Country? Well, the short answer to that is yes, you do, and no, you don't. That's probably the short answer, I suppose. The times when you must carry them is when you're driving anywhere within any of the ski resort boundaries, like Mount Buller, Mount Hotham and Falls Creek. I'm talking pretty much Victoria here at the moment. Not sure if the New South Wales resorts are the same. But yeah, pretty much any of the Victorian ski fields. And that snow season and that's only when the snow season is on. So the snow season officially starts Queen's birthday weekend. So that's when this not restriction, but that's when these times will kick in, when you must carry snow chains. Even if you want to go up Mount Buffalo, that's another one where you must carry snow chains during the winter time, during the snow season. And the other one, which is probably catches a few people out, is if you're heading up to Mount St. Quinier, which is just out of Erica here on the Gippsland side of the high country. That's another one too where you must carry snow chains. Now, you just got to have them in your vehicle just in those times, where if the snow is way too deep, the further up you go, and you get instructed by either the parks rangers or any of the snow field and guys here that are in the snow fitting bays. They're the times, if they pull you over and you say you must fit them before you continue on, well, you've got to have them. And if you haven't got them, well, they're in all sorts of strife and you're probably going to get turned around and head back down the mountain again. Now, another one too, when it comes to carrying snow chains, this is another one that catches a few people out, is the Alpine roads, the one that goes over the top of Mount Hotham. Even if you're not going to stop at the top. Now, this is, again, once the snow season kicks in, so Queen's birthday weekend onwards is when this will apply. So if you just want to, go over the top of that mountain, so from Bright over to Omeo, you will still, and without even stopping at the top, you will still need snow chains in your vehicle just to get over that mountain. So there's another one there too. You certainly got to think about, is just to get over the top of that mountain. Now, and the other thing too, which I'll just throw into, especially with this one, with that Alpine road that goes over the top of Mount Hotham. Again, this will start when the snow season kicks in on Queen's birthday weekend. It's a timed trip over the top. So if you're not going to stop at the top, so if you haven't got a permit where it allows you to park at the top and, go and skiing up there for the day and that sort of thing and park up there, if you haven't got a permit, you just want to get over that mountain, you've got a time limit. Now, back in the days, there used to be, people in toll booth boxes at either end of that Mount Hotham road, and it'd be manned. And so, you'd pay for your permit and then go over the top and stay at the top, whatever. But now they've just got cameras. So it's cameraed at each end. So it's a fair way from the Omeo side. It's sort of fairway down past Dinner Plain. And then coming up from the Bright side, it's sort of just before the Darga High Plain Road comes into the Alpine Road there. The camera's there. And what it does is, as you're going up or coming down or coming from either side, it takes a photo of your number plate. And as soon as you go past that camera, well, the clock starts ticking. And I'm not quite sure how much it is, how much they allow you to get over the top of that mountain, but it is fairly reasonable sort of time. I think they do give you to go to the top. But if you get from if you don't turn up that other camera in the time that they got allocated, well, there's going to be a fine coming in your mail because, you are just not allowed to stop if you haven't got a permit, which allows you to stop at the top up there. Well, you're going to get a fine in the mail. So just take that one also into account if you're going to go over Mount Hotham and want to go to Omeo or Omeo back over the other side to Bright without a permit and not stopping. Just take that into account. You've got a time limit from the time you go past that first camera. Just make sure you get to the other one on the other side within that time limit, so you can avoid getting those fines that are coming through. So there's the times there where you must carry them, anywhere with any of those ski resort boundaries. But look, if you're just going for a general drive in the Vic High Country during the snow season, well, no, you don't. You don't have to carry them. But hey, I wouldn't be going on any sort of snow drive without taking the diamond pattern snow chains with me on every single trip. On any of those snow driving trips that I go on, I make sure I take them with me on all my trips, as I've just done just recently. I only got back from a solo trip only a few days ago. Took them with me. Certainly didn't use them, but hey, they were there if I needed them. So that's the times when you don't have to take them, but it's totally up to you. During those times, if you're just going for a general drive, just doing some snow tracks within the Victorian High Country, well, snow chains aren't a mandatory things where you must carry them. Only time is, as mentioned before, is you must carry them if you're going to go and do any of those ski resort boundaries and those things. Is the only times when, and it doesn't matter how modified your full drive is or whatever it is, you still must have snow chains in your vehicle to get up those mountains or up and over those mountains. So there we go. So I hope those few little tips have gone on there and to help you guys out with some of the snow driving tips, because we are getting into that exciting time of year. Snow is starting to fall. It's all melted what happened last weekend, but there's some more coming later this week. I've seen sort of 2 or 3 days starting around Thursday, Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday is looking really good coming up this week. So hopefully we can get out there and all get in amongst it coming into the weekend. Well, there we go, guys. I'm not sure what's going on there, but there's I'm not sure what's going on with the actual chat thing down the side, but there's nothing going on down there. So I'll have to look into that. Maybe I've pushed the wrong setting or something like that. But anyway, we'll wrap this one up. But if you got any questions, guys, because I haven't been able to see what any of you put up there, if you got any questions, please chuck them down below in the comments down underneath, and I will get back around to answering all these questions. Now, over the next couple of weeks, we're going to do sort of a bit of a series on some snow driving topics, places to go, all that sort of stuff. So we will chat about those in the coming weeks going forward. But this has been a good one tonight. Some good topics there that have certainly been floating around social media. One around the tyre pressures. What do you run? Do you run the same tyre pressures as you do normal full driving, or do you change them? What different pressures do you run? And then the other ones, around snow chains. Which end do you put them on, front, back, or both, or whatever? And then, the times when you must carry them is those times when I've mentioned. So there we go, guys. We'll wrap this one up, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys next week. New video coming out tomorrow night, new solo video. It's been a while since I've knocked out another solo one, but there's a new one coming up tomorrow night in high elevation Alpine country. Absolutely cracking trip. So, tune in for that one, 5 o'clock tomorrow night. Until then, guys, we'll catch up with you then. Thanks very much for tuning in, and we'll see you a bit later on. Have a good trip, and we'll catch you later on. Uru.